Start choosing or you will forever be losing. Today we are going to discuss the power of choice. When a person has a choice, they are not a victim. What is a victim? A victim is someone that says, I don't have a choice, I don't have rights. So when I choose or when I make a choice or when I make a decision, it means that I am in control of my life and of my destiny. So a lot of times clients and people will come to me and say, I'm stuck in this marriage, I don't have a choice. I'm stuck in this situation or I'm stuck in this job because I don't have a choice. I'm stuck in a certain mindset because I don't have a choice. Now, the minute you feel that you don't have choice, please, I want you to become aware of the fact that you are now a victim. And a victim is someone that severely suffers. A victim is someone who has no control over their life, who takes no responsibility. And a victim is someone who likes to blame. So today we're going to talk about the power of choice. And yes, I wrote a book and it is part of the program because this book that I wrote, When the Fairy Tale Shatters, has got all the emotional tools in that we will be discussing on this program. So instead of wanting to have to come to visit the practice, you can buy this book and you can work through it. It's a self-help book that will help you to help yourself, to help your children, to help your friends, your family, whoever is in your life. Because when you are an empowered person, when you are a person that can choose for themselves, a certain light comes out of you. And people will start looking at you thinking, I want what she's having. I want what she's got. So we don't have to force people into a certain direction in life. We don't have to push people. We don't have to make people do things that they don't want to do. All we need to do is be empowered and shine our light. And when I am an empowered person, and when I grasp and embrace and accept the power of choice, everything around me will change. Everything around me changes. And even the people around you will start changing because they will see. They will see your empowerment within you. They will see the light shine within you. So if there's one important thing that I want to say in today's show, is stop focusing on other people and start focusing on yourself. Empower yourself, educate yourself, and start healing and helping yourself using a lot of tools in the world. And this TV program, or I'm going to call it a TV program, this show is one of those tools that you can use to empower yourself. So I'm going to read just a one page from my book that I wrote. And then we are going to talk about the importance of choice and intention. The power of choice. Start choosing or you will always be losing. Yes, I'm a poet and I don't even know it. We are all exposed to the lessons of life, and I genuinely believe that no one is excluded. All of us are walking a journey with lessons in our life. We all have trauma, pain, sorrow, and unresolved issues. Many of us feel judged, isolated, ashamed, and alone in the burden we have to carry in our life. I finally understood that I have a choice. I can fall to my knees on the carpet and stay there, or I can deal with divorce as a journey and an experience to empower myself and shine a light for others going through the same hell. With the help of many earth angels and a lot of hard work, I embrace the power of forgiveness and allowance. I am giving this my all. I am no longer ashamed to look the world in the eye, no matter what it shows me. I truly believe that whatever is reflected back to me is my own perspective that creates my own reality. The reflection of the world is my mirror. It takes time and daily commitment to myself. Still, I have learned that society's judgment about divorce, broken homes, children with special needs, mental illness, anxiety, depression, and even suicide is merely an opinion of others and of society. As souls in human bodies, we are already complete. We are not defined by our past nor the choices we have made. We put ourselves in prison, and it is our choice to free ourselves from that prison. If you carry pain, resentment, and grudges, even hatred or bitterness, and if you feel sorrow that you have not been able to release, if you, your heart, or your relationships seem broken, understand that it is possible to change your reality, but even and only if you choose to do so. Choice. The power of choice. No choice is also a choice. Coming and saying to me or to yourself, I am in a job where I'm unhappy, I have no other choice, is a choice. You are choosing to not have a choice. And once we understand that every single thing that happens to you in your life, and everything that you go through, and every way that you handle things in your life is your choice, things will start to change. So when something happens to me in my life, I will say to myself, okay, Aldi, what are you going to choose in this moment? There is a very, very big spiritual teacher or mentor in the world, and he is called Eckhart Tolle. I'm a very big Eckhart Tolle fan, and he always says that in life, when you are sitting with a problem, a situation, a lesson, he says you have three choices. You can choose to change it. If you cannot change it, you can choose to accept it. If you cannot accept it, you should leave it. All else is madness. And those three things have always stayed with me in my life. In knowing that it doesn't matter what I am going through in my life. The day I say I have made a choice or I am making a choice is the day that I take back my power. So whatever happens in your life, what are we choosing? And I'm going to continuously say it in this session. Start choosing or you will forever be losing. When I am sitting in front of a situation, a problem, a challenge, in that moment, I need to become aware and say to myself, what are my choices here? What are my choices? So instead of going into the blaming and saying, this guy just drove in front of me, or my son just flooded the apartment and I fell my bums off, or my front desk has just decided to resign, or whatever, I'm giving examples. In that moment, we need to choose. How are we going to handle it? Am I going to blame? Or am I going to make choices? And say, okay, this has happened now. It's not a walk in the park. It's not nice. It's not enjoyable. But how am I going to handle it? What am I going to do? What am I going to choose? What are the infinite possibilities available to me now in this moment in making a choice? How we react is a choice. Everything is a choice. All we need to learn is that choice creates awareness. So with choice comes the pause. And to learn to take the pause helps us to make a different choice. And different choices will lead to different outcomes. So when we raise our children, and I'm again going to use a very good example of Dr. Brené Brown, one of my favorites, where she actually had a talk show, a podcast with Russell Brand. And he asked her, he has, I think, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And he said to her, how do I teach these children about discipline, and how do I get them to do what I want them to do? And she actually gave this piece of information that I'm going to share with you today. She says that we should teach our children from a very young age that life is all about choices. So if I choose to do this or choose to do that, there's going to be repercussions. And choice doesn't have to go with threat or fear or anxiety. Teaching our children and ourselves from a young age that the power of choice will set you free from the victim status is extremely empowering and extremely freeing for us in our life. She gave an example where she said her children were fighting, her boy and her girl, and she said to him, look, in this house we don't fight like this, so you can either choose to stop fighting with your sister, and then we will have a wonderful evening and we can watch the program and have a nice meal, or you can choose to continue to hit your sister, and then you're going to go to your room, you're not going to be part of this evening, and your privileges will be revoked. So instead of us as parents going, don't do that because I said so, we tend to parent with a lot of threatening energy because we were parented that way. Maybe consider teaching your children the power of choice and teaching yourself the power of choice. For whatever I choose will determine the outcome. And taking a pause before I react and saying, okay, in this moment, this is not a nice experience, it's not pleasant, or it is, or it's going to be a pleasant experience. We don't have to go into the negative. But in saying, what are my options and what are my possibilities and what am I going to choose in this moment, will create a lot of expansion in your world, in your relationships, in your parenting styles. In my house, we don't threaten with death anymore. We've stopped. We will say to Marcus, you need to play your piano now. It's time for you to practice your piano lesson. The piano is good for the mathematical side of your brain. No, he doesn't want to. He wants to watch his story. Then we will say to him, okay, you have a choice. You can play piano now and practice, and afterwards you may watch your story, or you may play piano and tomorrow you will go to your trampoline, which you enjoy so much. Or you can choose to not play piano, but we will switch the television off and you will not be able to go to trampoline. What would you like to choose in this moment, Marcus? And give your child and yourself a moment to think about the choices and the aftermath of those choices. So when I make a daily decision, when I wake up in the morning and I don't feel high or happy or ease or joy or glory, when I get up in the morning with the wrong foot, ons sê in Afrikaans met die verkeerde voet uit die bed, getting out of the wrong side of the bed, what am I going to choose in that moment? Am I going to choose to use my tools and just take a moment of awareness and make a choice? Or am I going to go into the vortex of the pain body and the emotional upheaval that will just expand out for the rest of the day? So in our programs or in our shows and in our talks, you will constantly be reminded of the power of choice. The day you wake up and you decide, I don't want to be a victim anymore. I don't want to be unhappy anymore. I want to be an empowered person. I want to be a person living in awareness. that day when you make that choice, when you start choosing, you will stop losing. So the power of choice and the power of intention are two things that are very important. And you can only heal yourself and help yourself when you make the deliberate choice to start choosing something else. So I'm going to end off this session again with the 3 wonderful words from Eckhart Tolle, where he says, when you find yourself in a situation where you feel upset, disempowered, victimized, abused, or unhappy, or unfulfilled, you have 3 choices. You can choose to change it. Okay, what else is possible for me now? What other choices can I make in this moment with the situation I'm sitting in? So you can choose to change it. If you cannot change anything about that situation, you can accept it. Can I make peace with it? Can I live in allowance with it? Can I live with it and still be a happy human, living my daily life with peace? If the answer to that is no, the 3rd choice is to leave it. And without sounding like a quitter or someone who always likes to cut things off, it's also sometimes a very empowering choice to walk away from a toxic situation and to remove yourself from it. So if there's one thing that we can learn today and that we should learn, is you cannot go onto the road or the journey of healing and wellness if you don't embrace the power of choice. Start choosing, or you will forever be losing.